Carlos, the Ultimate Fitness Training once again, and thank you so much for watching the video. So today we're doing a video about trapezius. So for the guys that basically have been trying to maybe get some sort of size on traps, or maybe the guys that probably over sort of compensated this area a little bit, or maybe for the guys that want to get a little bit more balance in there, and also for the guys that want to get some sort of like structure in their body. That structure and balance comes together. Now, one of the things I do see for many years of experience is people overloading the bar when you do traps. Now, for the guys that probably don't know this, the trapezius muscles is constituted by three areas. You've got the upper area, which is basically around this sort of area, if you like, of your shoulder. And then basically you've got the middle area, which is just beneath that. And also you've got the lower part of your trapezius muscles. Now, they all get activated simultaneously. However, there's slightly different sort of targets, exercises in order to focus on that area itself, of which I'm going to show you now. One of the things I'm going to say to you guys, of which is very important, is range of motion. Now, a lot of us out there, we're very sort of like, if you like, consumed by this amount of weight we need to lift, okay? So we load the bar, we load the weight because it's all about the gains, but we travel very little amount of space. So what I'm saying, what I mean by that is, obviously, as you can imagine, your trapezius, when you do, say, strokes, for instance, it's a very limited sort of exercise in relation to, say, for instance, maybe, right? So obviously, as you guys can imagine, obviously the range of motion is very, very limited. Now, this particular exercise is one of the exercises I see a lot of people making mistakes. So as I said earlier, it's not about the amount of weight you put down. Now, this is a big mistake people make. Now, there's been studies by top scientists that have shown a group of 20 guys that never trained before and they use moderate weight, and people that didn't never train before, they use a very heavy weight. What they found was, after the 12 weeks, they equally grew the same way, okay? So now you guys do your own research, don't take me wrong, obviously if you can carry more weight and you feel better, and you think your body's gonna grow faster, correctly, if you can control that weight, fantastic, load the weight and do that. Now, for you to pull weight there to show people how strong you are and you can't control the weight is silliness, okay? So this is all I was going to say about this particular exercise, is when you grab the bar, make sure you're traveling from the bottom to the top, and from the top to the bottom, full range of motion. That activates your trapezius muscles, okay? So I'm just going to show you 10 reps, just basically to show you guys what I mean by traveling through the motion, okay? So full range of motion, so you're squeezing it and you're bringing it down. And 2 and 3. Now, although there's no really much weight on the bar, as you guys can see, I'm traveling through full range of motion, and because I'm traveling full range of motion, believe it or not, and if you guys do these yourselves, experience it, I can actually begin to feel my traps really working, and believe it or not, I can do a lot more than 15 kilograms, as you can imagine. Now, this is one thing that I can see a lot of people doing. Now, don't take me wrong, there's a lot of guys that do great stuff there. Obviously, they travel through range of motion and they also put a lot of weight, which is brilliant. Well done for the guys that do that. Now, the other thing I was going to say is how you guys hit the middle trapezius area is different. So there's 3 areas, as I said to you guys. So you've got the upper traps, which range from here all the way down the bottom. Some people got a bit lower traps, some people got higher traps, depending on obviously on your genetics. Now, how you hit the middle traps is basically by activating a muscle where you kind of do a shrug and you lift. So you shrug it and you lift, of which I'm just going to show you guys how it's done. Now, don't get me wrong, there is many exercises, and this is the thing, the beauty of YouTube, as you guys can imagine. There's loads of guys out there teaching all sorts of things. Some guys are right, some guys are wrong. I'm not here to tell you I'm the best there is. Obviously, I can only tell you what I've got in terms of experience, which is nearly 19 years of experience in this game. So I can obviously show you a lot of different things. Now, I'm just going to show you a particular exercise of which is very effective for the middle traps, okay? Now, I'll show you this exercise standing up, and then I'll show you this exercise lying down, okay? So if you get like some sort of like shoulder width apart stance, okay, bend your knees. I also kind of call these like, imagine it, believe it or not, I've never skied in my life, but kind of like this kind of skiing sort of motion, if you like. And I'll probably never attempt to ski, by the way, but maybe snowboarding one day. But anyway, so bend the knees, Okay, so it's kind of this rowing sort of like you're going to row, but you won't row. Okay, so bend your elbows, okay, and you kind of do a shrug and you squeeze. You go back down again, okay. So you kind of bringing your shoulder blades together and you do a shrug and then bring it out together. So what I'm actually doing here, basically, I'm bringing my if you like, my rhomboids and my rear delts and my middle traps backwards. So once I bring them backwards, I get them into a concentric contraction. Because remember, building muscle is all about shortening the muscle and stretching the muscle. It's all about that. Whatever muscle you do, whether you're doing bicep, whether you're doing chest, whether you're doing shoulders, whether you're doing triceps, quadriceps, hamstrings, calves, glutes, you name it. It's all about shortening the muscle, lengthening the muscle, and then the little tears in between, of which is done by resistance and correct training. So what I'm doing here, basically, I'm bringing in the shoulders back, and then I'm squeezing it, and I'm release. So remember here, you get probably guys doing this particular exercise with loads of weight, and they'll start moving the weight about, of which obviously in this particular position, because you've got bent knees, as soon as you start cheating, the strain goes onto your knees, goes onto your tummy muscles, your core's taking probably 70% of the work, and then obviously traps takes very minimal amount. So focus on form. So the other way of doing this particular exercise is if you lie on the bench, okay? Bear in mind, you see many methods of doing it, by the way. You can either place the bench on this particular angle, or you can go slightly more inclined. So depending on how you feel. Now obviously the lower you go, the more lower traps you activate, of which I'm going to tell you guys in a second on how to do that. So this one is a particular very effective exercise done properly. Done incorrectly, it's like any other incorrect exercise, you won't feel anything. So lie on the bench, okay, facing down. So you bring it in. This is not a row, by the way, not this, that's not what I'm saying. So it's basically, what you do, you kind of like bring your shoulder blades together and you do a shrug and you bring it down again. Okay, now unless you do this exercise, it may seem like a bit of a row, it does. Okay, so minimize the amount of work you do with your arms and maximize the amount of work you do with your shoulders. So you bring your shoulders up. You see my arms not really moving, so I'm not doing this. I'm not doing any bicep curls or any rows, as you can imagine. So what I'm doing, I'm bringing my shoulders up and I shrug and I bring it down. Yeah, shrug and I bring it down. If the camera comes a little closer, you'll see my shoulders moving a lot more than actually my arms. So my arm activity is minimized by my shoulder activity. So that is a very, very effective exercise. I can finish straight away, and by the way, that's only 12 kilograms, you see. And once again, remember, your trapezius muscles is a very small muscle now in relation to other bigger muscles, okay? So the power of these exercises is about range of motion, peak contractions, concentric and eccentric contractions, in order to maximize the time you have the muscle and the tension. Now, we're going to move on to the lower part of the trapezius. As I explained earlier this morning about having the trapezius, the middle traps, and the lower traps. Now, I've got very poor flexibility, so I'll show you what I mean by lower traps. So imagine like the trapezius being in here, and the middle traps being in here, and the lower traps being in here. So it's around this sort of area here. Okay, so it's just kind of beneath your scapula. Scapula is this big joint that you've got here. Okay, it's called scapula. So it's kind of beneath that. Those exercises get activated by this particular exercise I'm going to show you here. Believe it or not, this exercise looks easy, but when it's done properly with very little amount of weight, you'll really feel it. So, sit a bit. So basically what I've got is 3 kilograms, exactly. You've seen it right, it's 3 kilograms. For the guys that have experienced this and know exactly what I'm just about to say, it's one of them exercises, if you see it, you laugh at it, but it's one of them exercises, when you do it, you cry about it, because it's one of them exercises not nice to do. However, it's a fantastic exercise to do in order to develop the lower trapezius area for the guys that are basically lacking in that area and probably don't know how to activate it, believe it or not. So what you do is you basically lie parallel to the floor, flat down, okay? So very simply, what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring my elbows down, okay? So as you can see, my kind of like trapezius are shortening. So they basically creating a tension on my trapezius. So then, and I'm bringing it up there without touching it. Now, because it's such a hard exercise to keep that there, my trapezius are really gonna activate. Whether you like it or not, if you didn't have traps, you would not be able to bring your shoulders back. You'd be able to do this, but not this, okay? So, check it out. I might look as if I've just been arrested, by the way, doing this particular exercise. It's just the way it is. Okay, so, bring it down, and up. Squeeze it. Oh, I can feel that. Oh! Oh! No, I'm not joking when I say that. That exercise is very, very taxing. Now, you may say, wait, Carlos, so you mean like, in order to develop my lower traps, do I need to do that? That only exercise? No. Now, what I'd say to you guys is this: focus on building a balanced physique. Now, like anything, you need to build balance, okay? There's no point you having massive shoulders, no traps, massive traps, no shoulders, massive chest, no triceps, massive biceps, no chest. You've got to have a balanced physique. In order, not just from an aesthetic point of view, but also from a balance, and from if you want to compete, for instance, you need to be balanced, because otherwise you're not going to really manage trophies having overloading areas. Now, that particular exercise is great for the lower part of the trapezius muscles, which is then obviously incorporates slightly lower part of the actual trapezius. So imagine the trapezius muscles, the top part is being the bigger part of the iceberg, if you like. The middle part being sort of like the middle part, which is the medium sort of size, and the lower part was being obviously the smaller part. Now, this particular exercise, what I want you guys to take on with this is range of motion, because a lot of us, as I said to you guys back here earlier when I was talking about range of motion, loads of guys put loads of weight in there. Remember, your muscles cannot see weights. They don't know. It's all about the tension you keep on a muscle. Now, you do this little chicken dance that a lot of us do. You know, it's pathetic. It really is. It's all about the ego. I mean, if you speak to experts, they'll tell you. But on the same note, for the guys that can actually lift the weight, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 plates and can do it properly, fair play. Because that takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of power, takes a lot of strength in order to do it correctly. Now, to cheat anyone, I see guys all the time, you know, they're 12 stone, they're not very powerful, 13 stone, and they'll come in and they'll pull loads of weight on a bar. They can't carry it, they're just lifting. What they're doing, they're utilizing momentum in order to show how strong they are, but they're not strong. It's fake strength, okay? It's very easy to create fake strength for people that actually don't know about the game. But anyway, just to cover that part there, really is about full range of motion. It's all about performing the exercise correctly, and as you can lift more, obviously use more power in order to, more power, more weight in order to stimulate more greater, deeper, stronger muscle fibers deeper into your muscle tissue. So there you are. Thank you so much for watching the video. There's another video, guys. Here we are. Make sure you follow us if you can on Instagram, which is Carlos Trainer 10. Also on YouTube channel, which is Carlos Trainer. We're going to be doing a lot of specific videos now. We've got one coming up, which is the how to build upper chest for the guys that are basically lacking behind in that area. So with all that said, guys, stay happy, stay healthy, stay fit. Have a great day.